On January 24, 2006, a young woman left her Orlando condominium for work. Jennifer Kesse never arrived. Her car was later discovered parked at another apartment complex about a mile away. Security cameras captured a person walking away from the vehicle, but the person's face was hidden perfectly behind a fence post in every frame. Investigators believe this person may have been responsible for Jennifer's disappearance. Yet more than a decade later, no one has been able to identify the figure in the footage. The identity of the person in the CCTV frame remains one of the most frustrating mysteries in American criminal investigations. This is the disappearance of Jennifer Kesse. Jennifer Kesse was 24 years old in January of 2006. She lived alone in a condominium complex in Orlando, Florida. The complex was called Mosaic at Millennia. Jennifer had recently purchased the condo after several years of working in finance. Friends and family described her as responsible and organized. She worked as a financial analyst for Westgate Resorts. Her job involved managing financial accounts for the company's timeshare business. Jennifer had built a stable career for someone her age. She maintained a routine that rarely changed. Each weekday, she left for work early in the morning. Her office was located about 12 miles away from her condominium. Jennifer usually spoke with her parents frequently. Her family lived in Tampa, a few hours away. They remained closely connected through regular phone calls. Jennifer had returned to Orlando shortly before her disappearance. She had been visiting family during a vacation period. The day before she vanished, she resumed her normal work schedule. Nothing appeared unusual to the people who spoke with her. She made plans for upcoming work tasks. She also discussed future travel plans with friends. That evening, she returned to her condominium after work. The complex where she lived was still undergoing renovation. Some units were occupied by residents. Other units were being worked on by construction crews. Several workers were known to be present in the complex during the daytime. Residents had occasionally mentioned unfamiliar workers around the buildings. Despite this, Jennifer continued her normal routine. She locked her doors and maintained regular contact with family. There were no known threats against her. There were no signs she planned to leave or disappear. By all available accounts, January 23rd ended as an ordinary day in Jennifer Kesse's life. No one around her expected that the following morning would become the start of a long-running mystery. On the morning of January 24, 2006, Jennifer Kesse began what appeared to be a normal workday. She woke up early inside her condominium at Mosaic at Millennia. Like many mornings, she prepared for work and planned to drive to her office. Investigators later believed she left her condo around 7:30 in the morning. Her commute usually took about 20 to 30 minutes. Jennifer's coworkers expected her to arrive shortly after 8 o'clock. When she failed to appear at work, it immediately raised concern. Jennifer was known for being reliable and punctual. Missing work without notice was unusual for her. Her coworkers attempted to contact her by phone. There was no response. They also contacted her family to ask if anyone had heard from her. Jennifer's parents had not received any calls that morning. As the hours passed, worry began to grow. Later that day, Jennifer's employer contacted her family again. They confirmed that Jennifer had never arrived at the office. Her parents quickly became alarmed. Jennifer had always maintained close communication with them. Ignoring calls or disappearing without explanation was completely out of character. Attempts to reach her cell phone continued throughout the day. No one answered. Her phone eventually went directly to voicemail. Meanwhile, no one at the condominium complex had reported anything unusual. There were no confirmed witnesses who saw Jennifer leave her building. There were no confirmed reports of a disturbance in the area. From the outside, the morning appeared ordinary. But somewhere between leaving her home and arriving at work, something had gone wrong, and no one yet knew where Jennifer Kesse had gone. Investigators later focused on the short window of time after Jennifer left her condominium. Somewhere during that early morning period, her routine was interrupted. There were no confirmed sightings of Jennifer driving away from the complex. No neighbors reported hearing any disturbance near her building. Her car was also missing from the parking area outside her condominium. This suggested that Jennifer had likely entered her vehicle that morning, but investigators could not determine exactly where she had been taken. Hours later, a new development would change the direction of the investigation. A car matching Jennifer's vehicle was discovered at another apartment complex. The complex was called Huntington on the Green. It was located about a mile from Jennifer's home. The car was parked in an open parking area near several residential buildings. At first, nothing about the vehicle appeared unusual, but when police confirmed the car belonged to Jennifer Kesse, the situation became far more serious. The vehicle had been parked there since the morning of January 24th. Residents later reported noticing the car earlier in the day. Inside the vehicle, investigators found several personal belongings. Jennifer's purse was still inside the car. Her keys were missing. There were no clear signs of a violent struggle. The car doors were locked. This suggested the person who parked the vehicle had taken time to secure it. Police immediately began examining the surrounding area. They searched for witnesses who might have seen the driver. One detail soon became critically important. A nearby security camera had captured footage of someone parking the vehicle. This footage would soon become one of the most puzzling elements of the entire investigation. Investigators reviewed the surveillance footage from the apartment complex. The camera had captured a person parking Jennifer's car in the lot. The footage showed the individual stepping out of the vehicle. The person then walked across the parking area and along a nearby sidewalk. At first glance, the video appeared to provide a clear lead. But as detectives examined the frames more closely, a strange detail became apparent. The camera's view was partially blocked by a series of fence posts. As the individual walked past the camera, each frame aligned with one of those posts. In every visible image, the person's face was hidden behind the metal structure. Investigators could see the individual's body and clothing, but the person's face was never visible. Frame after frame passed with the same obstruction. The timing was almost perfect. Each captured image showed the fence post directly covering the person's face. Detectives attempted to enhance the footage. They slowed the video and examined each frame carefully. Still, no clear view of the individual's identity appeared. The person seemed to be wearing light-colored clothing. The individual walked calmly away from the parking area. There was no visible rush or panic. After leaving the frame, the person disappeared from camera view. No additional cameras captured where the individual went next. The footage quickly became central to the case. It was one of the only confirmed moments connected to Jennifer's disappearance. Yet the most important detail remained hidden. The identity of the person walking away from Jennifer's car could not be determined. This unknown individual became known as the figure in the CCTV frame. As investigators began examining the case,
Jennifer Kesse's disappearance quickly became a major priority for the Orlando Police Department. Detectives started by reconstructing Jennifer's timeline from the previous evening. They interviewed coworkers, friends, and family members. Everyone described Jennifer as cautious and responsible. No one reported recent conflicts or threats. Police then turned their attention to the condominium complex where Jennifer lived. At the time, parts of the property were still under construction. Several units were vacant, and renovation crews were frequently present. Investigators identified multiple construction workers who had access to the complex. Some workers were staying temporarily in empty units. Detectives attempted to locate and question each person connected to the site. However, investigators later reported that many workers had already left the area. Some had returned to their home countries. This made it difficult to identify everyone who had been present at the complex. Police searched Jennifer's condominium for signs of a struggle. There were no clear indications of forced entry. Her bed appeared undisturbed. Personal belongings were still inside the apartment. Nothing suggested that Jennifer had planned to leave voluntarily. Investigators also analyzed Jennifer's phone records and financial activity. There were no unusual transactions. Her bank accounts remained untouched after she disappeared. Cell phone records showed no activity after the morning she went missing. Attention soon returned to the surveillance footage of the unknown person. Detectives hoped someone would recognize the individual from their clothing or body type. But despite media coverage and public tips, no confirmed identification was made. The person captured walking away from Jennifer's vehicle remained unidentified, and without knowing who that person was, investigators had few clear leads to follow. As the investigation continued, detectives began examining possible explanations for Jennifer Kesse's disappearance. One possibility involved someone who may have been watching her routine. Jennifer left for work at nearly the same time every weekday. Anyone familiar with her schedule could have predicted when she would leave the condominium. Investigators considered whether someone inside the complex had observed her movements. Construction workers had regular access to the property during the daytime. Some units were open for renovation work. This created areas where unfamiliar individuals could move without attracting attention. Another theory suggested Jennifer may have been approached near her vehicle. Her car was parked only a short distance from her condominium entrance. If someone confronted her there, it could have happened quickly. Investigators also analyzed the behavior of the person seen in the surveillance footage. The individual appeared calm while walking away from the vehicle. There were no signs of urgency in the person's movements. This detail raised additional questions. Some investigators believed the individual might have been familiar with the area. Others considered the possibility that the person was instructed where to park the vehicle. Despite these theories, evidence remained limited. No confirmed DNA linked any suspect to the case. No witnesses identified the person in the surveillance footage. Investigators also examined the possibility of an opportunistic crime. But without new evidence, each theory remained uncertain. Years passed without a confirmed explanation. The identity of the person in the video continued to be the central unanswered question.
Jennifer Kesse's disappearance remains one of the most puzzling unsolved cases in Florida. Despite years of investigation, no arrests have been made. The surveillance footage of the unknown person remains the most significant piece of evidence. Investigators continued to believe the individual may hold critical information about what happened. Yet the person's identity has never been confirmed. Jennifer's family has remained active in the search for answers. they have continued to push for renewed investigative attention. Over the years, they have worked with investigators and independent experts. The case has also received national media coverage. Public awareness has generated numerous tips. However, none have conclusively identified the person seen in the surveillance footage. In later years, Jennifer's family pursued legal action related to the investigation. They sought access to the full case files held by local authorities. The goal was to allow independent review of the evidence. This effort reflected their determination to keep the case moving forward. Investigators still consider the CCTV figure a key element of the mystery. If the individual could be identified, it might clarify what happened that morning. But for now, the footage remains incomplete evidence. A few seconds of video, a person walking away from a parked vehicle, and a face hidden behind a fence post in every frame. Jennifer Kesse vanished during a routine morning. The answers may still exist somewhere beyond that moment captured on camera. Until new evidence emerges, the case remains unsolved. Jennifer Kesse's disappearance continues to stand as a haunting mystery in modern criminal investigations.